Woo! What is going on, everybody? We have the exciting day of putting our customized reel back together and learning if we made any mistakes. And here's the big scary piece. Oh man, look at that. I put a color shift on there so that it goes from like orange to red, gold, little pink in there. That thing is sweet. So the first thing I think we're gonna do here is we're gonna pull off all the frog tape. It's not fully cured, but I'm supposed to do this when the tape is like, or when the paint is just a little bit uncured, so that you don't ship it when you pull it all off. This is the big scary housing. Some paint fell off of it, or sorry, the tape fell off of it when I was moving it. And I can tell I did a pretty good job sealing that. So hopefully the same goes with the gearing side. I'll leave that for last. But man, this front piece gave me so much issue. You can see that gloss finish. Oh man, that looks sick. So I'm just gonna peel this very carefully and slowly. See that? And if I need some help with that, I have a X-Acto knife that I can cut this with, but I don't really want to chip away any of this paint. I'm just gonna kind of slowly peel it, and if I get some weird goop like that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this X-Acto knife that I bought, and I'm just gonna get in here and just kind of slice down the side of it just ever so gently to help pull that piece of tape away from the area. Alright, and I'm trying to remember, yep. Just kind of slowly peeling, having a lot of patience with it. I can kind of actually form that with my thumb to go around. Ooh. Like that. Just kind of slowly peeling this off here. I'm trying to do too much too quickly. Don't want to rip anything. I remember there's a good amount of glob here on the right, so I'm gonna get in here with my knife. Just give it a couple nicks to help encourage the separation. There. See that? I'm not trying to do too much, but that'll cut that the way I need it to come off. See that? Perfect. I can tell that's a little gloopy. This is my first time ever doing this, so we'll figure it out as we go. If I mess up any part of this, I can always go back and redo it. It's not the best. I might sand that down and retry that at some point. But this was the piece that was like the most scary, I think, for me, to try to get all the nooks and crannies of it. Surprisingly, actually, because it's not the piece I thought would give me the most trouble with this. Boom, we're free. All right, that is the front piece of the reel. Still looks pretty good from that angle. Underneath, I can tell it got a little gloopy. I may try to redo this piece at some point, but I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. It's not bad. Next up with this one here, this is just taped on. So probably gonna cut the tape right around here to get into the housing here. All right, same deal. I'm gonna go nice and slow. There's no sense in ripping this paint here. And then I gotta find where my next opening was. Just open all this up. It's like Christmas. All right, there it is. Okay, we're gonna go nice and slow. Just peel at like a 90-degree angle, I'm guessing. You can see that hyperdrive emblem survived, and that nice red to black is also surviving. Just gonna peel this straight back. This is pretty sticky tape. You can see in there there's the ball bearings that I wanted to protect. This is the tension spool. Another thing you don't want to gum up with paint. Boom. Oh, dude, look at that chameleon side plate. Oh man, that thing looks so good. All right, now this drag star, I covered the part that touches the reel with paint. No, I covered up the part that touches the wheel, the reel handle, so I can see. I can get in there now. Maybe make a slit right here. Pop this up, and this whole thing here should just come right off. Use a little tool here. Just push the paint from this side. There it goes. All right, and this will give me there you go. Whew. Drag star looks sweet. All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. Okay, now this piece had the magnetic side plate in it, and I had to cover the magnetic dial, really hoping I didn't mess this up, because that magnetic dial is like so key to how you fish. And I can just mold the edge with my finger there. Just pull this whole thing away. Oh, I caught that edge perfect. Really nice. Okay, so this whole thing should just pop out now. Oh, see that dial? Oh yeah, the lock button. Nice, dude. There's your side plate. Okay, we are almost there. The last thing to do here is to get into the central housing. I have no idea how this went. I tried to get as much of this as I could and cover the places that I knew were the most important. So one of those was the gearing here. I'm gonna pull the gearing housing side off so that I can get to the finer work. nice. I like this method of the paint. I actually think some of the stickiness is the paint that I'm seeing. Or sorry, some of the stickiness is from the frog tape. It's just coming off really nice. Trying to keep these gears as clean as possible. We don't want to gum it up. And then once it's off the paint area, we can really give this a tug. This is just the pinion that I'm working on now. I put a lot of tape on there. Give me a second. All right, there we go. I got the last bit of tape off of that. Bang. Come on. All right, it's gonna be difficult, so we're gonna go in there with the blade. Get a little cut. There we go. Whew, that pinion gave me a little trouble. Dang. Look at the central housing of this reel. You can see a little spot that might need some touch up, but for the most part, look at that. Now, the other thing I did here is I took this here and I hid that so that the silver would stay on the reel. Might have to cut this as well. This is good tape. Probably didn't need as much as I've got on here. There it goes. All right, I also covered up the inside pinion stuff, track, so we can pull this whole thing off. Ooh, look at that, silver survived. Nice. And now we're gonna clear this one out. Boom, pull that hat off. So you can see where I sprayed inside a little bit, but I think that's gonna take care of itself. I don't think it's too much to worry about. All right, next up is gonna be this inside area. So this is another gear. This is actually a moving part that you really don't want stuff to get into. I can see that tape covered a little bit, but you're never gonna see that part down there. If I wanted to, I could redo that, but it's so minimal, it's not gonna make a difference. But that gear, you really didn't want to get paint in there, and there's no paint in the gear, which is great. The rest of this will just kind of work its way out as you fish it. So we're good there. Bottom looks great. see I missed a little spot right there, but man, this reel is going to come together really nice, I think. I think that's all the tape I had on it. So now we are going to reassemble the reel. Okay. To do that, we're going to work on this side first, I think. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Yeah, let's do that. We'll make sure everything is working and in order. So to do that, I've got all my pieces laid out over here. Okay, there are these 2 springs that are gonna go right on here. And they click onto this, which goes right there. That goes to the pinion gear, which looks like that. So this whole contraption kind of fits in together. I should put it together and put it all on. So this goes in like this. And then this drops on top like that. Boom. I'll save those for last because next up comes the stacked drag system. So this all fits on top of itself. Clicks down right like that. And that's all moving together now. Cool. Then comes this piece, which holds it all in. Then comes this piece, which will go onto the reel itself. Actually, there's another stacked piece on here, isn't there? I remembered finding that. So there's one on top and one on bottom. Like that. Sorry. So that washer, that phantom washer that I had found, that's what that is right there. Okay. So there we go. There's our gear housing is all together. Now comes the springs, right like that. And then you put on this side of the housing, which drops into that spool tension knob. Actually, I think what I'm going to do is put this on through the other side because I just want this to be perfect here. Bang. Okay, and now these just need to fit together. And this is what part where I was worried about because there's tolerances, you know, that these should just fit right back into place. Ooh, I forgot about that piece. Give me a second. I know exactly where that is, I think. Give me a second. Where's that piece at? Here it is. Sorry. Okay, so I gotta take this off slowly. This piece I was messing with earlier, it's like a little gear blocker. Slides into place down here You actually got to take this whole thing off first. Click this in. All right, now goes the gear housing, or the gear itself. This is the big old gear. Then comes this piece here. Oh, that just fit perfectly. That just fits so nicely. Bang. I'm noticing the front guard needs to go there, so let's pull this back off. This front guard piece goes right over here and will fit in just like that. And there's a small little piece that looks like this. So small the camera can't even see it. Don't drop it. Goes right in there. It's gonna be tough. Gotcha. Super important when working with the small stuff to not push it. Tighten it up, call it a day. Now this can go on, and we'll make sure that all these painted pieces still contain a pretty good fit and tolerance. Oh my goodness, look at that. That looks pretty dang fit to me. Great fit. All right, now we can put this here. It's gonna slide down in there, along with this. There's like a bearing for the handle or something. I don't know what that bearing's exactly for. And we'll have to make sure that this piece goes all the way down and in. This is the tough part. Got it. Whew. All right. Before I do anything now, I'm gonna get these screws back in, and I actually went and got the correct piece for it. So now this 2.5 millimeter will fit right in there, and I can actually go through that hole that I missed the other day, or couldn't get it into the other day. Right there. It's in. Now we can do the front one here. rear one right in here. Perfect. All right. That's a good amount of that rebuilt. And then we'll put on the clicking drag system here. And washer. Remember this being kind of tight, so this typically helps get it to where you need it to be. Oh man, how did I do this? Without breaking anything. I can barely get a hold of that. What you gotta do is get this held so that you can screw. There it goes. Now it's on happily. There you go. That drops in there. And then your drag star goes on. Like that. And it helps if you tighten this drag all the way. Hear it click. That's how you know you did it right. Oh, I scratched the... That's fine. I think I'll scratch it anyway in the normal use. I can always reapply that paint if I have to. But it's not going to be seen too much, so... And let me show you what I mean. This is going to go right there. And then this comes on here. There. So you're almost never gonna see that part there. You don't want this to flick up and go crazy. Come on. Go on. Okay, that's actually going to keep the tolerance of it. So this goes on here. This is my custom carbon fiber handle. There's the nut that keeps everything together. You just want it tight, you don't want to crank it. Then goes this piece. Does it matter which side? Not really. I think it's the same both sides. Boom. Needs to be just tight, just a hair more. Perfect. Okay, that goes right there. And let's Let's see, what should I use for that? Probably just a little. Screwdriver, eh? Okay, it's just fine. All right, now we need our line spool. This is the part I'm most worried about because there's a little paint in this area and I don't want it to be blocking this from getting in. I mean, if you put a hair on this stuff, it won't go in. So if this goes all the way in, I mean, it means I protected it well enough for it to click back into its spool housing. Right in there, bang. Just like that. Okay, that's in. Put the side plate back on. And then we'll lock it down. Give it a test. And that reel has been customized, rebuilt in the chameleon camo. Check out my Instagram for some pictures, A2 Angler. This thing's sweet. All right, like and subscribe. We'll see you later. Peace.